I got you.
This is self-care and the hard truths about self-care. Yeah. We're talking about the things we don't always want to hear, but absolutely need to live. Because everybody talks about change, but not everybody takes the necessary steps to change. This is your reminder, you are not a problem, you are a blessing. You're not acting funny, you're growing, you're evolving, and trust me, there's a difference. Growth looks like boundaries, healing looks like distance and elevation. It makes people uncomfortable, but we're not shrinking anymore. We're not dimming our light, we're not abandoning ourselves.
Hello, Edine. How are you?
Hey, JS, what's cooking?
Everything is going well. Thank you for joining the JS Self Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. We are super blessed and happy to have you.
I'm excited.
I'm glad you're excited. But before we start, can you just give us something about you, what you're about? Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do for a living. I mean, other than being on the JS Self Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast.
I got
But
you.
introduce
I got
yourself.
you. So my name is Eden. I have a couple of things going on. I'm partner owners in a shop called Automotive Ingenuity HD. We do a lot of diesel work. I got my partner Ryan, who runs all the performance, and he maintains all the fleets for all the companies that we work with. And what I mean by performance, we're talking like these 1,000 horsepower, like sled pulling trucks, just crazy stuff that I personally still can't even wrap my head about. And just luckily, I have the team that helps me out. And then I also have another partner, Jeff. He does all the strategy, the financing, all the logistics, lawyer, taxes, you name it, you get all that stuff. I'm involved with the community. I get the accounts, I get all that stuff. But at the same time, I also am a life coach. I have a program. Well, I have a line with Eden, social medias, in which I do help men in emotional intelligence, emotional regulation. And listen, I'm no special. I've been there. I've been that guy. So through my lessons, and that's probably one of the questions we're going to have today, you learn from your lessons. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, guys. So it seems like and what I got from you fixing big diesel trucks, that also aligned with your coaching business because you're working with men. And a lot of men feel like they're diesel and they can do everything and they can't cry and all this stuff that comes into play. You know what I'm saying? So our jobs sometimes align with the things that we do.
I can say that works for the fact, or it's for the paralleling of, yes, guys tend to try to be tough, and working with trucks is tough. I get that aspect. But yeah, it's really boils down to how guys have this tough exterior and need to understand what's underneath all that.
Absolutely. And what I learned on my journey to self-care is to allow a man to be vulnerable, right? And when they share stuff with us women, we shouldn't use it as weapons because that sometimes has the male.
You got to get rid of that black book. Mm-hmm. And that's both ways. That's not just guys or just women. It's both ways. Like when someone's being vulnerable, you don't ever want to throw that back in their face. Ideally, when someone's vulnerable to you, if you've gotten to that point in your life where you understand yourself, if somebody throws somebody back in your face, you can sit there and look at them like, yeah, I know, and I'm working on that. But what's your point? You completely take it away. Yeah. But it's work to get there, and that's what she's trying to say. It definitely is work. You never want to throw back something into somebody's face because there's a process to get there. And if you are going to throw it back in their face, that's your ego first and foremost, and you're potentially setting somebody else back in their process or in their journey.
And the reason why that came to mind is because when I was looking at the three topics that we're going to touch on, that aligns with being vulnerable, tapping into emotions and things of that sort. That way we know that we could be vulnerable. I know if I was to call you, we're three the hard way. We don't have Phil here, but we're like best friends. If I call you and I'm pouring out my heart to you, you won't come to HV Business Link and use what I said to you against me.
No, not at all. That's the safe space. That's the part we have to consider. There's a safe space. You don't violate that. You violate that, you have no trust. You have no trust, you have no relationship, and nothing.
Yep. So that brings us to our first one.
Ooh.
Stay away from people that still want to see the old version of you.
That's a
Because
good one.
we've both been in spaces where people have used our stories against us,
Yeah.
or
So
traumas, or any of our life experiences.
I like that question hits me two different ways. One, you want to surround yourself with the people that are going to help you grow. So let's just say you have bad habits, and that's something you want to stay away from. Yeah, you're going to have to walk away from those people that just keep doing that bad habit. And I'm just going to throw one out there just as a random example. Let's say you're trying to cut down drinking, and you're hanging out with friends that are constantly drinking, and everything they want to do, let's go to the bar, let's go, I got drinks at home, I got this, like that. If it's going to suit you, you're going to have to walk away from that. So that's one aspect of it. You need to walk away from the people that are just going to surround you. Because here's the other thing. Like, if you stay with them, you're trauma bonding. You're never going to grow, and you're going to stay in that same vicious little cycle, right?
So true.
So
It is true. So, I've been around people, and a lot of people have said, I miss the old Janelle. Like, they would verbally say that to me. And, on this self-care journey, you start learning things about yourself. You even start learning things that people say, and they miss that ratchet part of me, right? And that's a valid feeling for them. But I have to tell them that person is dead. So if you're looking for them, you're going to have to go to the graveyard and dig them up, because the old version of me is not allowed back in
yeah,
me.
because you're growing. Because no longer suits your lifestyle. You've moved on. You found things that get you in a better space.
Absolutely. I mean, if I was my old self, or if you were your old self, would we be sitting together right now?
Good question. If we were both our old self, maybe we would be sitting. But now we're both our new selves, so we're sitting.
It's like twofold, right?
Right.
But if I was my old self and you're your new self, would we be sitting together?
I would respect you for being who you are, absolutely. But I just wouldn't indulge. I wouldn't give you the time, because it's just, I'm not there anymore. I'm just not there. And that whole aspect of not being there anymore is huge. When you're able to say that, that's growth, and it's in half.
It sure is. And that's what it's all about. It's about us growing. It's about us evolving. It's about turning, for me, I turned pain into purpose, right?
Oh,
And that was digging deep. And that's digging deep into your souls, where you start that nasty cry, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're getting rid of your old self, you're also mourning your old self, because
Yeah.
this new self, you don't know where it's gonna go. You're like, wait a minute, take care of myself.
and there's gonna be times you're gonna be like, well, let me just go do that thing I used to do. Let just one time. You're gonna want to try to revisit that. But as you get beyond that, you start realizing, wow, it's much better not to do that than to do that.
So, if any of our listeners are listening, that stay away from people that still want to see that old version of you, can you give us maybe a tip on how they could tell their friend you're not getting that old version anymore?
Say it again?
Can you give us like a tip on something? If someone's struggling that's listening to this and they don't know how to tell the person that wants that old version back, what would you say? Because I said go dig them up. So tell me, what would you tell someone who you love?
Yeah.
It's
you
not.
want to set boundaries, right?
Yeah.
You want to set boundaries for yourself. You want to set boundaries to them. So I'm really big advocate about setting boundaries, but I've seen this theme that happens is that people want to put these boundaries, or they want to protect their peace, and I get it, but how? Nobody ever tells you how. You see the meme on it. You watch the social medias, protect your peace, protect your boundaries, but how? So what's happening is I see a lot of people put up walls. They don't protect their boundaries. They're putting up walls. They never learn how to deal with somebody in that aspect of how to set those boundaries. Quick little example. You got people that are people pleasers, right? Their whole life they've been people pleasers, and that's a habit. That's a behavior. That's something you do. Okay, so now you realize you grow out of that habit. You're like, I'm not a people pleaser anymore, and you're gonna have to make some waves, because people are used to you saying yes to them all the time. So when you finally sit there and say, you put a boundary down and say, hey, it's just not gonna happen. I don't have time today. or no, I'm sorry, can't do that. They're not gonna receive it because they're like, wait a minute, this person's always said yes. Like, what's going on? So they're like, why? You're in a bad mood. What's going on? They're gonna poke. They're gonna want to poke, and that's the part where the boundary isn't a wall. You say, yeah, listen, it's not happening. You don't have to lose any face. You don't have to walk away from them. You could stay very still and calm and just say, hey, that's just not where I'm at. I don't even give an explanation anymore. Stuff like that. If they can't understand me, it's not my responsibility to make them understand me.
Yeah.
No is a no. It's not going to fit in my book. It is what it is. And it's going to be tough. You're going to have to hold your ground. You have to like, because trust me, we're all human. And at some point you just want to be like, why don't you understand?
Right.
No, you're not there anymore. It's just like the empathy part helps though. I gotta tell you that. If you can see it and then realize if this person just really doesn't understand that I'm not there anymore and they're used to it, well, they'll grow at some point. Either they'll get the point or they'll walk away. Right.
And I always tell people that doesn't mean like you lost a person, because you could love this real thing from loving people from afar, right?
Yeah.
Because boundaries without consequences just allows people to cross us over and over and over and over again. Like, I'm not going to Walmart during tax time. That's one of my no's. It's one, I'm just not going, probably because I'm jealous people get to do all that shopping. I'm human, right? But also, I don't like the 3 shopping carts and I got like 5 things in my hand and somebody's like trying. So that's one of my boundaries. So when my friends know it now, but at first they was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I won't go to Walmart unless it's super early in the morning. Like, I check the temperature in buildings and in spaces, right?
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's too crowded, and I leave. But that's one of my boundaries. Don't ask me to go to your 1-year-old birthday party. I'm not doing it. I don't want no one stepping on my toes. I don't need to be around children anymore at that young age. Or if it's a great niece, because now I'm starting to be a great auntie and stuff.
Right.
Maybe those first-year-olds, but I always tell them don't invite me to the second one because I'm not going. Don't waste your invitation not going. So, boundaries without consequences is important.
What I'm hearing from you also is that, especially with the Walmart thing, right? Your friends know you, they accept you, they understand that that's where you're at. That's what a true friendship is.
But it took them a while.
And I hate because you had to change. You had to, that old you had to die. The old you would be like, sure, I'll go. But inside you're at Walmart, you're like,
how many TVs are you buying? Do you need all those TVs? I start analyzing everything in the shopping cart. Do you really need that? You need that T-shirt right now.
But
so
you don't need to be there. You don't need to be. That's not something. So you can walk away from that. And they had to learn that. But here's the cool thing: they accepted you. They stayed your friends, right? That's the point. If you're creating boundaries and they're really going to be your friends, they'll be there. They ain't going nowhere. But if they're not really your friends, then what were they doing? Using you. Not a good relationship.
So true. So that gets us, that is the segue for the second one. Setbacks are part of our journey. Always remember your setbacks teaches lessons while preparing you for your huge comebacks. Why do they say setbacks prepare us for our comebacks? What do you think when you hear that?
Setbacks, failures, that all rhymes to me in that same genre, right? And the one thing I don't know if you guys can tell, but I like to go to the gym. I really do. And in the gym, the one way to grow muscle is you have to work it till failure. Why? If you work your muscle to a failure, it breaks. And in the repairing of the muscle is where it grows, right?
Yes. So is that why people go to the gym and come back home and they're tired?
Or
sore, super sore. I didn't mean tired. Super duper sore. And they be like, nah, that gym ain't for me. Nope. That's something wrong with that machine.
Yeah.
It's because they can't go further. So they talk themselves out of it.
So what happens is they've never understood the process of getting through things, of understanding the lesson. They never gone through that. Yes, they got to the failure part, but that they thought that's it. They walk away from it. There's more to that. There's the in-between, just like the question said, right? The in-between. The failure part you got, great, no problem. Then you got to keep going, right? And then after that, keep going, the repairing and all, that's where the muscle growth comes. And that's when you start seeing the fruits of your labor. You're like, oh, wait a minute. my shoulders are showing a little more. My calf muscles are showing a little more. You start getting all these things they're showing, but you have to keep going with that process. So failure, or if you want to put setbacks, they are life's greatest lessons. You will repeat them if you don't learn from them. That's the key.
And that's why every January 1st, you got a gym full of people by the 7th. Everybody like, this hurt, my arm hurt, right?
Oh my God, the 5 a.m. at the gym is normally empty, but on January 1st, woo, January 2nd, let's go.
Yeah, the second.
Yeah, it's packed. But so that
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad that you used the gym analogy, because even though it's truth, but that's a great way to say, you know, how many times we all start something.
Yeah.
And we just don't finish it because of the pain.
We don't go through the process of the in-between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another little part to that. You gotta fail. If you're human, you're gonna fail. If you don't fail, I gotta tell you, man, then ask yourself this: was it always everybody else's fault? Did you point the fingers outwards? Was it because of someone who did this or someone that? You're in a situation, there's always two to tangle. What was your part? If you can't own your part, you're never going to grow. You're going to be that person that's like, I'm the victim. Victim mentality, man, never gets you anywhere. A victor mentality does get you somewhere. That's that mentality that says, listen, I know I just messed up, or no, this just happened, but how can it get better? How can that not happen again? That's the key to it. That's the key to the setbacks and learning from them and going forward and growing.
That's so true, because always remember, if you do everything perfect, guess what? You're not learning anything.
Right.
So you got to move backward. You got to move to the right. You got to move to the left. That way, during that process, you're learning something. And some of those things, like you said, the gym, maybe that also sent you home to want to eat right? Like, I'm building all this muscle now. I got to get the protein in me. You know, I got to leave the carbs out, right? So whenever I go food shopping, I always say everything white ain't right. Even though I eat my rice, I'm not saying that, but it's there, right? So now I'm starting to be in love with the sweet potato, right?
I love sweet potatoes.
But who would think? I was like, this ain't candy yams, you know, growing up. The only reason why we brought sweet potatoes was for candy yams, not to put in the air fryer and bake it. And I could just eat it plain with no butter, no nothing. And it's because it's everything you need. A sweet potato really is everything you need.
It is. So coming back to something real quick, now that you jogged my money, the whole aspect of growth and failure and thing, like, there are people who technically don't fail. But why? They stay in their comfort zone. They don't push themselves anymore. So those people, they're comfortable. Oh no, I've done this. I get that. I'm sitting right in this little bubble. And then here's the thing: you can get to a certain point in that bubble, but remember, you're capped. You're never gonna go anywhere else. You stay in that comfort zone. You don't push past it. You're just gonna stay in the. This is the best thing. I love this analogy, right? You're gonna drown in the sea of stillness.
That's why, you know, that comes when you said that. A lot of people be like, you know, pray to God. I believe in God. You believe in God, right?
I believe in God, Jesus himself.
Yes.
Yep.
But do you know why God put people like you in this world, put people like us in this world? That way people don't sit and drown in the sea of stillness. Because there's outlets, right? Mm-hmm. And because you have a setback, that's because maybe one of those reasons you having a setback is because you didn't pick up the phone and ask for help.
Yeah. And where does that stem from? Shame. Not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not asking nobody. I love the people that go, I could do this all by myself. I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna work. And then the first thing a person would say when I say, oh, that ain't gonna work, is because they're like, oh, you hating? No, I'm trying to tell you something. There's nothing none of us could do in this world by ourselves. Yeah. You and I, we wanted to do this podcast. We needed the laptop. We needed StreamYard, right? We needed things to help us. There's nothing you could literally do on your own but sit in stillness.
So
Because
that
I like that.
that really like has my mind rolling. The biggest thing is, first and foremost, not my will be done but yours.
Mhm.
We have an idea of how we want help. We have this notion of what we want. But if you're really in faith, you got to accept what he gives you. He's the man who knows everything. So
Absolutely.
sometimes ask for the help. And if it means that he's sending you Janelle to ask you a question that challenges you, listen. Just got to listen. He works in different ways, and he's going to send you help in different ways. It's not always going to be the way you want it. Again, he knows better than we do. That's
Absolutely.
my faith aspect on that.
And my thing is, you know, when we out there and we're doing the things and we're giving back and we're, you know, learning from those setbacks, he's always gonna send an army of people that can help you. You gotta accept that army.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing we can't do. I just named a few things that we needed just to have this conversation, right?
Mhm.
You know, all of these things were sent to us, right? It was
Yeah.
sent to us so that we could share this with you guys. So just for everyone, yes, setback is just a part of your journey. Don't look at it no other way. And a journey is something that we stay on, right? We get on this train, there's gonna be stops. And I always say the journey
Milestones.
is like oh my goodness, the journey, look at it like a train. How many of you guys ever tripped and felt near a train or almost tripped while you were in a train station? Because you tripped out of that stop, that doesn't mean that you're not going to come back on the train.
No.
That just means you got off, you're going to come back. And that's what a setback is. It's just bringing you a few steps back because along that journey, you didn't learn something.
Yeah, I look at life as always a journey. You're never going to get to there's never a place that you get to. It's always a journey. There's always going to be growth, no matter where you're at in life.
So that brings us to our last one. You don't always have to show up with a positive attitude. It's okay to feel angry and discouraged.
Yeah, we're human. That's the whole aspect of it. So I love how, you know, you get this Instagram, social media, like version of like, look at these guys. They're in the sun. They're happy. They're happy. They're smiling.
They're not going through nothing.
No,
What?
that's what I want. No, let's be real, man. They have the same thing we do. They get frustrated. They get sad. They get angry. They feel shame. They have all the things. Do they ever show you guys? Probably not.
No.
But the reality is, now here's the thing. We all have them. What do you do with them? Key thing is to recognize them. Definitely acknowledge what's going on with you. If you tried, and this was with Janelle, I was listening to Janelle went back, and she's like, you can't try to just get over it. Because if you try to get over it, it's still under you. And what was it that you said? You have to go
through it.
Yes.
You
yes.
have to get through
You have
it.
to get through it. So in the aspect of you're being upset, you're mad, you're sad, you're angry, whatever the case may be, you're not a positive, you're not happy, you're sad. Name it. Don't live in it. Acknowledge that it's there. Like I can walk through the day and be like, I'm sad about such and such, but I have it as a little block in the back of my head that I understand that's going there, but there's so many other things going on in my head. And where am I at in the moment? Right now, I'm walking on the street. Thank God I have the sun in my face. I'm walking. There's a breeze. I have food in my belly. I'm good to go. Like, what do you latch onto? That's what you got to be careful, because whatever ruminating thoughts, right?
Yeah.
They'll catch you. But keep the balance of understanding that there's a feeling there. Ask yourself why you feel that way. And once you get that little rotating question of why, but be gentle with it, then you start to say, oh, I'm sad because I wish I could have done this.
Thank you. You named it.
You start naming it, and you start realizing once you do that, that feeling no longer has power over you. No longer. Not get me wrong, it takes a while to get there.
Right.
You really have to.
But you got to name the feeling, name the emotion. If you're super happy today, you're super happy that we made it to HV Business Link. Let's celebrate, right?
Yeah.
Why am I happy? I get to be with, one part of 3 the hard way. But if I'm not feeling it or I'm feeling overwhelmed, I also should be able to step into that and not look for someone on social media, like you said, that is every day at a beach we all know that they going through something or have gone through something. They may be happy while walking on the beach, but maybe they got a phone call or something. And that's so important that we tap into that emotion. We don't have to stay there, but you got to tap into it, give it a label, and then what?
So you're right. And once you give it a label, again, like I said, it eliminates the power that it has. Here's one thing I also know from experience. Not everybody understands their emotions. So if I ask you to give it a label, you might not even understand what emotion that is. There's a little, you can look it up online. Check it out. Check out the feeling wheel. A feeling wheel, different ways of showing it, but the one I normally give my clients is it starts from the center and works its way out. And the center are like the major feelings that people have: angry, happy, sad, numb. And then from those, once you pick that feeling, then you're able to branch out and be like, whoa, I'm angry, but I'm feeling lonely. It transfers. And now you're like, well, what kind of lonely? Well, the lonely, and then it looks up and says, oh, wait, the lonely means I'm not feeling good enough. And that's why people reject. You just keep following those feelings, and all of a sudden you really get to understand yourself in a whole different level. So the reason I'm saying this, if you don't understand, or if you ask yourself that question and you're not finding yourself with an answer, look up the feeling wheel. That'll definitely give you an insight as to what's really going on inside, naming it and not giving it any more power.
Exactly. So just remember that your emotions matter. They're a part of who you are, and never take the human out of you. You are human. You're going to be happy sometimes. Things is just going to make you excited. And then sometimes you're not going to be so excited. A memory, a thought, something is going to come up. And it's okay to step into that as well. While you're still happy. I'm happy because of this. You know, like yesterday was a sad moment for me, but it was also a happy moment for you. And I'm going to share this with you. I was excited that it was your birthday. You saw I sung to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was using them good vocals.
She got them melodious chords. Don't catch her at the karaoke.
But I was super excited that it was your birthday. That was one feeling, right? Then I had a feeling, yesterday was the day I lost my little baby brother who was murdered in 2012. And yesterday was also my parents' wedding anniversary. And all three of them are no longer here. But you know what I did? I took the time. I said, okay, what are you feeling? I just sat on the couch because I was trying to be.
Yeah.
I was trying to just go through it. I was like, oh, no. I'm going food shopping. I'm doing this. I said, no, Janelle, sit in that, because that's part of your sad moment, right?
Yeah.
Sit in that. I want you. And what I do a lot of self-talk. So the first thing I said was cry. I did that. And then you know what the second thing I said was, think of a happy moment with all three of them. And then I went food shopping, because I had to sit in that sad emotion, right? Yep. And today I'm super tired, I guess, from tossing and turning last night, right? Let's label that as well. But you still get through it. So knowing and understanding, and this took years of work. Please don't think that I woke up and was like, oh, I could tap into my feelings. And Dee didn't wake up like that either.
No, that's the part of it. It's learning,
it's right? Journey. It's never we learned how to tap into our feelings. We learned how to say, it's okay to feel that way, right?
Yeah, and not be ashamed.
And mostly I think of little boys and men, when you see a little boy fall and you hear, get up, stop that crying. You're not supposed
to suck it up, buttercup. Let's go. That's what you're taught.
Yes. Yeah. And to break that, I mean, for men, for us as young girls, we were able to tap into those feelings more than I've seen, with my family. And I don't know if your parents told you the same thing, like get up. Or you heard it?
Yeah, no, I was raised the rough way, like, either go kick some ass or I get your ass kicked at home.
So, how long would you say it took you to learn how to tap into those feelings?
So I guess everybody's journey is different. My case was I had to go through an event in my life where I was like, wait a minute. It just this just doesn't feel right. It's just something's different. Like I get what they're saying, but I'm not seeing this right. And so I had so many questions in my mind that I asked for help. And what I mean by ask for help is like I prayed. I'm like, God, I'm not seeing something's not making sense. And then oh man, this guy from Beyond Driven, he's an amazing person. I had one conversation with him, and from that one conversation, it's like, I need him. He's definitely going to guide me in the right light. And asking for that help skyrocketed me to this whole journey of awareness, of waking up, of owning my own shit, to put it, to be honestly. The reality is like, we love to point fingers, we never go back inside. So that was where I realized, wow.
That's where your light bulb went.
And then from that point on, it was just, I started seeing it in everybody else. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I see what's going on there. Wait a minute. I see what's going on here. And I would just be like, hey, I would just ask a simple question. What did that make you feel? Or how could you have done better? And it just turns into this really deep conversation where it's an awakening. And it's sometimes rough. This awakening isn't going to be like enlightened, like, oh. No, you're going to go through some crazy, some angry feelings, some sad feelings. You're going to go through them all. Once you get through them, that's when you start becoming that better man, that better leader.
So guys, I hope that, with these 3 points that we were able to help you understand that stay away from people who still want to see the old you. Setbacks are only ready to prepare you for your comebacks. Dive into them. You don't always have to show up with a positive attitude. Step into those emotions. That's what Adine and I just spoke about. But Adine, I want to read the comments, but before I read them, can you just give us like a takeaway, something positive that you got from this conversation with just you and I politicking? We didn't, go over everything and say, this is what we're going to say, not going to say. So this wasn't scripted. This was really off the top of our dome.
Yeah, I know.
But tell us something you got from this.
I'm glad to be able to take this to a whole new level, because so you guys don't know either. I would just do this privately. I wouldn't advertise. I wouldn't do anything like that. And the calling just got me better. I'm like, I need to put this out more. I need to help more people. So this is just part of me getting uncomfortable, and going on with Janelle and saying, hey, listen, let's just talk about it. Let's get live. Let's put it out there and help people.
And it started from a conversation you and I were on the phone. And what you said, this is a podcast.
We do this a podcast. Like, we can help people like this. So,
and this podcast is streaming everywhere. I mean, it's going to be on Apple. It's on YouTube. This is just a tool for you guys to put in your toolbox. So if you ever want to reference this, you can. What we do is we give you the tools. Unfortunately, Adine and I would love to do the work for you, but our plates are huge because we're still growing and evolving ourselves. So there was about 9 comments, Adine.
Let's see what they got.
And I want to be able to read them. So let's see how this works.
Sounds like it's a bunch of positive feedback.
Barbara Martinez, big shout out. She is the owner and founder of HB Business Link, where we're at. And she says,
we're at headquarters right now.
We're at the headquarters. She said, Linkers, Lincoln, love it. Boundaries. This is also Barbara. Boundaries are very important, and those that can't accept the boundaries don't respect you. No need to explain it. No is no. Thank you, Barbara. And we're glad that you were able to tap in. Third wheel, which is Philip.
Yeah, look, he's always thinking about food.
Good afternoon. He's hungry. We got to feed Phil.
But Phil, I got to tell you, Phil, you got some really good conversation. But you and I have had some great conversations.
Yes. So you know what? It'll be our next one will be all 3 of us. We'll get Phil on. Everyone is saying happy birthday, Adine. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That video of your parents was so cute. And Phil said, fantastic. We did great. We do this on the phone.
Yeah, that's just saying.
And Orlando joined in and said, hey, guys. So, guys, listen. This is a journey that Adine and I are on, and we're happy to share it with you. And he's going to be back on. We're also going to include our third wheel, right? I said third wheel.
Wow.
Barbara in Orlando, hearts up. We're going to include our 3 the hard way because we really are 3 the hard way. And when you're with a growing team, there's only one way to go, and that's up. And if one of us fall and bust our knees to the white meat show, guess what, Eddie? Two of us is picking each other up. And that's what community is. That's what growth is. So thank you.
Thank you.
We did it. 3 the hard way.
Take care, guys.
This is self-care and the hard truths about self-care. Yeah. We're talking about the things we don't always want to hear, but absolutely need to live. Because everybody talks about change, but not everybody takes the necessary steps to change. This is your reminder, you are not a problem, you are a blessing. You're not acting funny, you're growing, you're evolving, and trust me, there's a difference. Growth looks like boundaries, healing looks like distance and elevation. It makes people uncomfortable, but we're not shrinking anymore. We're not dimming our light, we're not abandoning ourselves.